Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Don't see what's yours for the taking tonight. Ooh, show me your soul, baby. I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Can't you see it's way past time? How explicit do I have to be? I mean, I spell it out before you get it, baby. Show me your soul, and honey, I'll show you. I'll show you.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. You caught me. I was over in another browser doing something. I was, oops. So anyway, good morning, and welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris, and I am so excited to be here today. Happy 30th day of March today, Tuesday, one more day, and we'll be into April. I see, according to the news, here in Chicago, Monday, this coming Monday, are you ready? 62 degrees. Oh, I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I'm serious. I am just so thrilled to be here. I want to get started. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood, and there's the bell to prove it. You know what that is. That's the bell of purpose. The bell of purpose, when it rings, y'all, that means that it is an opportunity. It's a window. It's a door. It's an opportunity for all of us to be a part of something greater than ourselves. And what I mean by that is paying it forward. When you hear that bell, it's time to phone a friend, send out a raven, yell out the window, but whatever you got to do, invite somebody to get some of the great content you're receiving right here on Bathrobe Moments. It also is a little heads up that there could be some platinum sitting somewhere out on the middle of the road. Just because it's there doesn't mean it's roadkill. You might want to go back and pick it up. It could be soul fill, something you fill your soul with. That is our theme, as you know, this year, season 5 of Bathrobe Moments. Show me your soul, and I'll show you mine. That's my promise to you, and your promise, hopefully, to the rest of the world. Share your story. That's why you lived it, to be of service to others. Can I get an amen? There it is. There's that bell again. At this point, you know, because she's under contract and I ain't trying to get sued, I want you to help me welcome to the show my sidekick. She's here every day. This is my sidekick, my version of Ed McMahon. This is Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo, and she's been here for 5 years as well. And today, what have you brought me, Lucy? Let me see. Oh, plain old breakfast blend. So there you go. What's in your cup this morning? So look at this. Look at this. Last night, it was, you'd have thought it was the time trials for, you know, the U.S. track and field here in this house. My husband Brian and I were running around, screaming, clapping, jumping. Why? I'll show you why. Because now, how do I do this? Okay. Last night we were watching that television show, The Voice. Are you familiar with it? The Voice. And the reason we were so excited, there it is, Team Legend. And there is our good friend, Pia Easley. Yay, ringing the bell. There's Pia. Right there in the blue and the I think it's yellow, green maybe, I don't know. And there in the black and white photo when she was performing at our 2018 Power of We Symposium here in Chicago. And we're just so proud of Pia. This is her second go around. She was on American Idol some years back early in her career. And this time she made it through last night. She had to battle somebody on her own team and sang circles around the girl. And she's moving forward to, I believe they call it the knockout round. So you guys, if you are a fan of the show or not, get over and support Pia Easley, a Chicagoite and a dear, dear friend of my husband Brian and I. She hangs out here at the house. She's a single mom of 2 children, and she's just been pursuing this career for so many years, and she's absolutely a phenomenal person and entertainer. So Pia Easley, heads up. Yay, we're so happy for you moving forward on The Voice. So yay, I'm so excited. And again, just can't hide it. Not much happening in the news that I know of. I didn't really get to look at my own phone yesterday, let alone the news. I'm just happy that we haven't heard no news is good news, right? So that's that. I am so excited about today's guest. She's a wonderful person. She's on the other side of the pond in London, England. I wish I could speak London. Wait a minute. They speak English. Well, you know what I mean. I wish I could sound like that. I can't do it. Let me see. I do speak Irish, by the way. If you guys remember from St. Paddy's Day. You want to hear some? I speak Irish. Give me gold and I'll leave you alone. Or, this fan favorite, made for a woman. No, made for a man, but I like it too. Give me Lucky Charms. There you go. There you go. That's the extent. And do you speak a second language, any of you? At what age do you think, is it ever too late to learn a second language? Because I'm considering one, and I just can't decide. I can't decide between, I don't want Spanish because I had that in high school. A romance language, though. Maybe Italian? Molto lavaggio. I want to learn something so that I can go somewhere and try it out. Maybe French. Do you know that the average American has a command of 5,000 words of French, which you only need 3,000 to be considered fluent? Right? Who knew? But the key is putting them all together to form cohesive sentences. So, you know, words like baguette, banquet, cafe. Yeah. So, are you fluent in any language? I want to know. Drop it in the comments. So anyway, who's here today? Who is it? Who is it? It is Claire Rogers. Claire. Oh, I got a joke for you, Claire, in the green room. What do you hear every time? What do you hear every time you try to buy alcohol and they don't think you're of age? They say, I declare. Get it? I declare. Anyway, that came to me early this morning, apparently way early. Anyway, Claire Rogers is here. You're going to love this lady. What is she? She's a mindset coach, which is why I was like, got to get her in here. Mindset coach, and she's also a motivational speaker. She advocates fearlessly for fearlessly and authentically owning your truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me who? You got it. Greater than. She advocates for this because For nearly 40 years, she hid, ignored, and invalidated her truth until an explosion in her psyche sank her into a sea of panic attacks, anxiety, and depression. This led her to live in a private world of hell for 18 months. This dark night of the soul forced her to own her truth. She unpicked, pulled apart, and then dissected every moment of her life by shining a light on all darkness and fear that she'd been carrying. This led her to go from hiding her story to sharing her story, because she recognizes now that to live in the light and live a life of passion and purpose, we first must own our truths. And I agree. Can I get an amen? That what, right? Need I say more? Listen, you know what we do. In true bathrobe moment fashion, pour your love into the screen, pour your love into each other, pour your love and put your hearts on the screen for Claire Rogers, because guess what? Oh, here she comes. I declare, it's Claire Rogers.
Thank you for the intro, and I like the Irish accent. Well done.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, thank. Wait a minute.
I can teach you some swear words too in Irish if you want.
Do they have them?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
We'll do that offline.
They actually have a language?
No, the usual stuff, but it sounds better Irish.
I bet it does. Okay, offline it is. Welcome to America. Welcome to Bathrobe Moments, and welcome to Show Us Your Soul, and I'll show you mine. Are you ready to show your soul?
I'm ready. I'm ready, baby.
Well, why don't you tell everybody a little backstory, where you're at, how you got there, and what is it you do to leave some type of permanent imprint of positivity, influence, and impact on the world.
Okay, cool. So backstory, before 2013, you'd think that I led the perfect life. I was a model for 5 years. I traveled all around the world. I lived in 36 odd countries modeling. I traveled with, no, I shouldn't say traveled, but I partied with Jane's Addiction, Skid Row, had a really rock star, amazing life. And it looked like life came easy to me, meaning gold touched. Everything I touched turned to gold. I've been to 70 odd countries. I was very successful in corporate life after I became a model. Did that for 5 years, went to college, climbed the corporate ladder, made 6 figures, was highly, highly successful. And I had everything, the house, the car, the shoes, the handbags, I had everything. And life was going great. But in 2013, my life turned upside down. And what happened was, for about 12 months, I worked on a contract for the corporation I worked for. It was $1.5 billion. It was the biggest sale that they had ever gone after. It took me 12 months to sign this contract. It was huge. And I won this contract. I didn't think I would. I was dealing with a narcissistic sociopath with the client. Didn't think the guy liked me at all, but somehow I convinced him to bring the business to the corporation that I worked for. $1.5 billion. I was a rock star. My company loved me. They sent me to Bermuda to say thank you because I did such a great job. But as soon as that client signed that contract, you'd think that I would have been euphoric and really proud of myself because I'd pulled it off. But I remember the next day waking up and feeling like something was really wrong and something really bad was going to happen to me. And I couldn't put my finger on what it was, but something said to me, God was going to get me. Something was going to happen. I don't know what it was. I couldn't celebrate my success, but something inside just said something was wrong. Anyway, later that day, I had to go to my nephew's 5-year-old's birthday party. And I remember walking into this town hall and there's like 15 kids and they're running around and they want to play with Auntie Claire. And normally I'd be up for that. And they've got their Nerf guns and they're playing like mad. And I'm checked out. I don't want to be there because I've got this feeling inside that something really bad is about to happen to me.
Is that what they consider impending doom?
Yeah, it was an impending doom. I remember thinking, there's no way you could have been this successful signing this huge $1.5 billion contract. You've either screwed it up, something's happened, something's gone wrong. Something told me something bad was going to happen. Anyway, I remember playing with the kids, trying to talk to the parents. I'm trying to bring my extrovert personality out. I'm trying to be really friendly and so forth, but I'm checked out. I don't want to be there. Fast forward a few hours later, my husband and I walk across the parking lot to our car, and we get in, and all of a sudden that foreboding feeling ratchets up. I'm like, something really bad's going to happen. And I'm now starting to anticipate. I'm like, I'm going to get in a car. Something is going to happen. Something's going to freak me out.
Ooh.
And I can't shake that feeling. But I'm not telling my husband. I haven't told anybody else what's going on, because at the time I wasn't a great sharer. I'm really good about helping other people, but I wasn't great about talking about what's going on with me internally. Anyway, we're driving down the highway towards our home. We're about to have dinner with some friends in half an hour. And I don't even remember what my husband said to me. I think we were talking about holidays. Like, where were we going next on holiday? I think we were talking about going to South America in 6 months. It was like a random nothing conversation. And I remember him saying to me, you know what, if we keep traveling like we do, we're going to have to work until we're 95. And something in my psyche did not like that. I mean, there was just a stupid comment. It was a throwaway comment, but something in my psyche did not like that, because next thing I know, I can't feel my arms and legs. They're tingling. They've gone completely numb, and I'm hyperventilating. I'm like, I'm doing this and I cannot breathe. And it's the most awe-inspiring terror washed over me. And I remember thinking, I'm going to die right now. Like, this was what I've been anticipating all day. I'm going to die in this car right now. I couldn't catch my breath. Instinctively, I pulled my head forward and I put it between my knees, and I'm trying to draw in breath. Of course, that makes it worse because I'm constricting my breathing. So then I put forward, and at that same time, I feel like somebody's got an elastic band and they put it around my chest and are squeezing the life out of me. And I cannot feel my arms and legs, which is really freaking me out. And I'm really scared. But at the same time, I remember looking out the window, looking at cars, like I'd seen cars for the very first time. Innately, I knew I was going to be okay. Something told me I was having a panic attack. I don't know how I knew that.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't know how I knew that, because I'd never had a panic attack in my life.
You think you're dying?
Yeah, completely. I remember thinking, I'm going to die in this car right now, and I haven't helped anyone. I can't believe this is happening. And my other half is giving me a bottle of water, and he's not one to get worried about anything. And he's saying to me, just drink the water. You're going to be fine. And I'm thinking, it's easy for you to say, mate, because I'm losing it. Long story short, we get home 20 minutes later, and I have gone from being a passionate, happy-go-lucky person that everything I touch goes to gold. I will caveat that with I work hard for it, but everything I have ever wanted in life, I get because I work hard. I've gone from being this passionate, happy person that will help anyone to now I'm a fragile, dejected wreck that can't snap out of it. I can't find that happy-go-lucky girl anymore. And I live like that for 18 months. Every day I wake up and I have that same damn panic attack every day.
Well, Claire, do you think it was depression? What do you think it was now?
It turned into depression.
You know it, huh?
It turned into depression. So I white knuckled it because, again, at the time I was not a great sharer because I don't want to show weakness. I thought I'd be fired. I'm pretty convinced I probably would have been pushed out because you can't show weakness in corporate life, especially at the level that I was at. I didn't share it, but I also didn't share it with my friends, family, no one, because I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I thought it made me weak. And so I white knuckled it. I had these panic attacks every single day for like 18 months. Didn't ask for help. I didn't go to the doctor, nothing like that, because again, I don't want to admit weakness. It then turns into massive depression because I develop a fear of fear itself, meaning I never know when the panic attack is going to happen. And so I'm constantly fearful of when it's going to happen.
Looking over your shoulder constantly.
Yeah. Is it going to happen in the grocery store? Yeah. Is it going to happen in front of my clients? Is it going to happen in front of my staff? Is it going to happen in the middle of the street? And so I developed something what I call what if disease. What if it happens when I'm in Starbucks? What if it happens if I'm a client meeting? And so you develop a fear of fear itself. And so my world then shrank and I went inward. I stopped hanging out with friends. and family. I didn't make much of an effort to spend time with my husband because it was just easier to go inward. And about 18 months into this, living this private world of hell, I remember thinking, there's no chance that I'm going to live my life, the rest of my life. Like, I can't do this. Long story short, I then at the same time got some devastating news. So while I'm going through these daily panic attacks, thinking I well and truly have lost the plot and I'm never coming back to who I used to be, I get an email from some long lost friends. I'm from Vancouver, Canada. Some friends have been trying to track me down for years, and they finally found me. And they wrote me this email to say, I don't know how I'm going to tell you this, Claire, but Adrian, one of my best friends from back home that I hadn't seen in years, but I still considered a good friend, he died of a heroin overdose. And that, getting that news crushed me to my soul, because I loved this guy. He was one of my soulmates, not in a romantic sense, but just in a good friend's sense. That then sunk me into depression. And I remember thinking, I don't understand what the meaning of life is. I've just lost one of my best friends, one of my guys. I'm also going through panic attacks, that's turned into depression. I don't see what the point of life is. I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not even thinking like that. But I am thinking to myself, I don't know what the future holds. So losing a friend to heroin is not like a normal grief, in my experience. A normal grief meaning, you know, someone's died from an accident, or they've died from cancer or something like that. You grieve. But when you lose someone to heroin, for me anyway, I raged. So at 1 minute I'm crying my eyes out because I'm devastated I've lost one of my best friends in the whole world. And on the other hand, I'm pissed. I'm so angry that he got into that situation. And actually losing him actually changed my life, because that anger that I felt towards him woke me up and got me out of my funk. And it made me realize I got to figure out why these panic attacks are happening. It cannot just be that I'm working 12 hours a day. It cannot be that it's just because I'm working every hour under the sun and I'm working on weekends. That cannot be the case. It's not corporate America's fault. So the rage that I felt for losing my friend woke me up, and I realized that actually it wasn't corporate America that had caused me to start these panic attacks and me working too much. It was because I was a scared kid. I was a 40-year-old kid dragging around my past, and I had never dealt with it. And so, although, as I say, my life had been perfect, I've traveled the world, I've hung out with rock stars, I've been a model, and life has been amazing. The real story is that I grew up with a lot of violence and abandonment, and I didn't tell anyone. I never told anyone. I have been beaten, I've been thrown downstairs, I've had knives held to my neck, I've had a gun held up to my chest. I've had all sorts of bad stuff happen to me, and I've never dealt with it because I kind of have that personality of childhood's over. You know, there's nothing I can, there's nothing I can do. But I believe what happened was, because I never dealt with that scared kid, all I did is I dragged that scared kid around with me and hung out with rock stars and became a model and went to corporate life. Because I never dealt with that scared kid, I was constantly living in a state of fear, and I didn't realize it. I was perpetually watching my back all my life. And I think the combination of working on that big $1.5 billion contract and working every hour under the sun, combination of doing that and dragging a scared 40-year-old kid around with me, was the perfect explosion in my psyche. And that's why I had the panic attacks.
Wow. Well, I mean, that wasn't much you just threw out there. Can you give us anything more? I'm kidding. Oh my goodness. And I'm looking at the comments, and I see Virginia Hodges. Hi, Virginia. Hello, everyone out there. Hi, everybody. So glad you're here with us. And she said that she suffered from that too. And, you know, I remember when I had a panic attack, it was due to vertigo. I went up to take a look at a lookout point in a condo where a friend of mine had just moved in. In the elevator, it happened. I felt nauseous all of a sudden, and then one thing led to the next. Next thing you know, I'm numb. I'm trying to call 911 while he's driving me to the hospital, and the phone fell out of my hand, started foaming at the mouth. I just knew it was over. I'm going, when they're wheeling me in, I'm like, oh my God, Mom. My mom had passed like maybe five months before. And I was like, Ma, I knew I wanted to see you again, but I had no intention of it being so soon. Then they gave me some shot, and 20 minutes later, I'm walking out of there, and I was so embarrassed because I was like, tell so-and-so I love him.
Because it feels like a heart attack, doesn't it? It feels like it's curtains, it's ending.
I knew I was a dead man.
Mm-hmm.
And you're absolutely right. I immediately thought about all the things that I had not pulled the trigger on yet.
Mm-hmm.
Those that were just like I saw them where they really were standing in my space, seen and unseen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I saw it all. I believe it's what they say, your life passes before your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like what I saw.
Me too.
At all. And so I'm grateful for that day. It's never happened to me since. So Claire, tell us about the shift from that to this.
Sure.
What stripped the bed?
What stripped the bed is that I put myself through my own therapy. So again, I didn't go and ask for help. I didn't go and see a therapist. I read hundreds of books on self-help, personal development, mindset, psychology, child psychology. I studied everything I could because I knew I needed to build a brand new me. So there was two things. One, I'm dealing with the grief of losing my friend and I'm pissed at him, but actually that anger is what is spurring me on to fix my life. And I realized that the first 40 years of my life had been a very shallow existence. I'd traveled the world. I'd been a model. I'd hung out with rock stars. I've been to 70 odd countries. But it made me realize that wasn't the meaning of life. And I now believe that those panic attacks and that dark night of the soul, I call it the dark night of the soul because there was no hope. I could not get out of my own way. Every day, imagine every day you wake up and you're in a private world of hell and another panic attack happens and it happens continuously. You can't see another way out. But I knew that if that was how I was going to live my life, if I was going to have panic attacks every single day, then certainly buying the shoes, the handbags, the house, and all of that kind of thing wasn't going to fix it. I was going to have to fix me and live a life of purpose. So the shift was, it didn't happen overnight. It definitely didn't happen overnight. It took me a couple of years. I read every book I could get my hands on spirituality, God, religion. I was looking for something. I didn't have a God prior to this.
Okay, I was going to ask.
No, in fact, I had a bad relationship with God. I was born and raised a Catholic, and that really screwed me up. I'm from divorced parents. That I got banned from the church at age 6 because my parents were divorced. I wasn't allowed to go into church anymore.
Hey, honey, have a good day.
I was told that I was going to go to hell every single day as a kid because my parents are divorced. And so I didn't have a God. God for me was a scary white dude in the sky that was going to get me at any moment, because I was a sinner. But I started looking for God. I thought there'd got to be a meaning to life. The meaning of life can't be that Claire Rogers was born, put on this earth to work every hour under the sun, buy stuff and die. That can't be it. And so what shifted for me is I read this amazing book called Seed of the Soul by Gary Zukav. Have you read it?
No, I'm writing it down though.
Changed my life. Seed of the Soul.
Seed of the Soul. Write that down, you guys.
That book changed my life because it's helped explain suffering. And that is something that I have always struggled with. I don't understand why children are beaten or abandoned. I don't understand why animals are hurt. I don't understand rape and genocide and all sorts of things. So I've struggled all my life with suffering. What on earth is the point of suffering? We cannot possibly be born to come onto this earth and suffer and then buy stuff and put nice shiny things on it. That book explains, it's more of a Buddhist philosophy. So Buddhism is not a religion. It's a philosophy based on kindness and compassion and karma. And basically that book explains that we are brought if you want to believe it, of course.
Sure.
But you're brought into this world with either karmic debt. So you've chosen the difficult life. So I always kind of joke around, I must have been a real shit in a previous life because for the stuff that I went through. But that book kind of helped me shift to go, okay, maybe I don't know who God is, but I get the karmic debt thing. So how can I be the best version of me? How can I help people? How can I heal myself? And how can I change my karmic debt, if there is such thing as a karmic debt? And I thought, and that has to be a life of service. So I now look back and say the 18 months or the 2 years of chronic everyday panic attacks was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because if it hadn't happened to me, I would have continued living this shallow existence.
Right. That was when the snow globe of purpose shook you up and your world. And I always tell people why I use the snow globe analogy is because, so, you know, we're each inside of our own personal snow globe, and every snow globe has two components, three: the liquid, the stuff, either the glitter or the snowflakes that are flying around, and then the picture that's in there that's like, welcome to Niagara Falls or whatever. Yeah. And a lot of us spend most of our lives, or a great portion thereof, every time the snow globe gets shaken by what is greater than, wondering if the picture's still going to be there when it clears, or shiny object syndrome, looking at all the glittery things flying around. When it changed for me, Claire, was, and I want to know how you feel about this for your own journey, was for once I was roped into the law that is within that snow globe, which is the law of gravity. So I started looking up, knowing that it was going to clear from the top down, because I needed clarity immediately. I wasn't all into, look at it. Oh, isn't it beautiful? No, I needed clarity in that moment. Clear this up right now. And I looked up, and sure enough, what is greater than me was staring straight down through the snow globe. It took one time for me to lock eyes with what is my creator. And it is the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And the truth is the only thing in the universe that never changes and never changes on us. So I only needed to experience it once to have it forever. Yeah. And that's what turned my life around. When we come back from our break, I want to find out if you think there's any significance to the fact that this dark soul thing lasted for 18 months. And if you think that number 18 meant anything, and I pulled up the angel number, and we're going to talk about what that is and what it stands for. And I want to hear more about whether or not you realize now, or when you did, I believe you do know. I want to know what that moment of aha was for you when you realized that Claire Rogers is indeed an empath. And a lot of that, you know, why it had to be then. Were you Marsha? Was it all about Claire and only Claire? And it was time to be of service to the world, as you had a covenant with what is greater than to do when you came here. I want to hear about all that and more, and I'm sure you guys do too. We're going to get to your comments and your questions when we return with more of Claire Rogers and her story. And then we're going to find out how she does it and why she does it and who she does it for. Stay there. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I'm a sunny Laura Michaels Harris. And I want to say thank you right now to my sponsors for today's show. Well, there's one, intentionpen.com. I have mine right here, which is inscribed. I had them put through me, not from me, because I believe all of our greatest content not only is found in the life we're currently living or that life we've most recently lived, but it all comes through us on its way to the world. We're just whistle stops. So handle everything with kid gloves. Reverence. Through me, not from me. Intentionpen.com. Get yours today. And also, you saw a promo for I have a television special this Friday, April 2nd, in celebration of World Autism Awareness Day, where I have a panel discussion with 5 gentlemen who are doing great things in the world, despite the fact that they all suffer or deal with, because they don't say suffer, it's a gift if you listen to them, and I believe it to be true, of autism. They're all autistic. We're going to hear from 5 different people this Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. I meant that like that. That was not a senior moment. So just saying. Friday. I know it's Friday. Friday at 4 p.m. Central till 5:30. We'd love it if you join us and be a part of the conversation. Now, back to the show with Miss Claire Rogers. Claire, welcome back. Oh, I almost forgot. New thing. One of my new brands I have with a partner, Daniel Echeverria, the host of Weekly Dose of Dano on the E360 network. We've started a company, Electric Revival. It is a digital media company where all of your digital needs can be met. Everything you see on Bathrobe Moments, our company creates, and we do it for tons of people at the network and also other places through the world. So if you feel that your brand, your business, your message could use a little shot in the arm digitally, holler at your boys. That's me and Dano for more information on Electric Revival. So Claire, before we went to break, I wanted to know 2 things, and I'll get out of the way and let you run with it. First of all, the angel number 18. Do you know what it means?
No.
Okay, it symbolizes independence, humanitarian work, and creating things which last. This number is also a symbol of care for the humankind. People who have a connection to this number are often very compassionate and friendly in nature. These people have a tendency to do on their own the things they consider very important. Although they are very independent and usually make their decisions on their own, they often make them after consulting someone. They can be a team and individual player depending on the circumstances. And it does mean karma, inner strength, abundance, and leadership. Does that mean anything to you?
It does. It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I always look for the connectors because I believe that every day, every moment is filled with clues to let us help us understand that there's never a mistake. There may be a misstep, but it's not a mistake. It's just
100%.
a place, all those traumas, what came in with them through the doggy door that we don't notice, and our hasty exit is a blessing. A future
100%.
blessing that it is.
And I'm actually grateful for all of the trauma that I went through, because if I hadn't gone through that trauma, I can't help people.
Well, and you can't help yourself first in order to help other people. It starts with self. And the thing about that doggy door of purpose is this, everybody. You got to be patient. Now, you hear me say this all the time. In time, it will all come together. In time, it will all make sense. But blessings are born at the same time as that pain, that tear, that trauma. It is a blessing being born into the process of becoming. So be patient and wait on it. So I want to know, how do you feel about the term empath? Do you believe?
I am an empath. I am an empath.
Now, did you know this when you were going through all the 18 months?
No, I didn't know the term. I always knew that I was a deeply kind and compassionate person. I always knew that. But I believe that 18 months of hell ramped up that kindness and compassion. And it's now to the point where I'm definitely an empath. I can't watch violent TV shows, for example, because for me, my brain takes that on as it's actually real. I can walk into a room and I can immediately feel someone's pain or someone's happiness. So I say being an empath is both a blessing and a curse.
I get it. And it can be. It definitely can be, because you can't unhear what you hear. You can't
unsee stuff. So for example, I can watch the news, and if I see, a little boy that has been molested or God knows what, something's happened to a kid, somebody would watch that and not think about it. 6 months later, I'm still worrying about that kid.
So, Claire, what was the first thing you noticed about yourself when this transformation took place? And then, did you start getting any outside confirmation or validation from people that something was different? What's going on with you, Claire? There's something, I just can't put my finger on it. Talk about that.
Yeah, it actually was a very lonely time, to be honest with you, because people didn't recognize me anymore, because I no longer care about what society tells us that we should care about, which is the perfect life and the airbrush faces. And hey, I was a part of that, so no judgment. I didn't care about that stuff anymore. Now, and back then as well, I started going from the superficial stuff in life to now I want to sit up until 2 o'clock in the morning and let's have some deep, authentic, meaningful conversations. And so the people in my life, some of them have still stuck around, my closest friends that I've known forever, but I lost a lot of my friends. And, I'm actually going through a divorce right now because we grew apart, because I fundamentally changed from who I was to who I am today.
So, Claire, let's talk about things, tangibles, those things that we collect, including people. When we're in that mindset, Marsha, it's all about the swag and this sort of thing. I can definitely picture you with one of those closets like we're definitely having in our next house, where you get to walk in there and it's like a bedroom and there's drawers and
I've got that.
Okay, right. So after this transformation, did you start noticing, how like when you buy a new car and it's a different color than you're used to, all of a sudden you see all the cars that color? Did you look at the things that you had surrounded yourself with that made you feel like this is what the world needs to see? This is what draws people to me. Look at me, look at what I have. How did that stuff feel? Did it feel like it still belonged? Did it feel out of
No, I remember it exactly. It changed my life. I remember sitting in Madrid and I was in a director's meeting. There's 30 of us directors. I was still working for corporate America then. And I remember being bored out of my mind. We were talking about the next year's sales targets. I think my sales targets were 3 billion. We were talking about our teams.
That's all.
Yeah, that's it.
Have you always been a slacker?
Pardon?
Have you always been a slacker?
Yeah, exactly.
An underachiever? Only 3 billion.
I'm definitely an A personality, and
I wouldn't even tell people that little. When you get to 8 billion calls.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying though, because that's a big deal. That's a pressure cooker.
It's a huge pressure. It's a huge pressure. But I remember being in this meeting and there's 30 of us in there. There's only 2 females, 28 guys, 2 females. So I already don't really belong. And I remember just being bored out of my mind. And as is typical in corporate America, most guys will overrule what a woman is saying in a corporate setting, in that environment, at that level. And so I remember feeling misunderstood. No one was listening to me. I was kind of checked out as well. And I remember looking down at my shoes and I caught sight of them. They were Christian Dior shoes, beautiful shoes. I still have them. They've got dice on them. They're amazing. But I remember looking at them thinking, oh my God, you are sitting in the most boring meeting in the world with people you do not care about. They're not your friends. You are sitting here to be able to buy $500 shoes, and you are trading your health for your wealth. I quit my job that day. I gave 4 months notice. I just thought, this is fundamentally not who I am. I don't care about all of that stuff. I don't know why I've been collecting all of that stuff, because fundamentally I'm from Vancouver, Canada. I'm a hometown girl. I'm happiest in yoga pants, t-shirt, and I'd go hike in the mountains. I had formulated this identity with all of this stuff that I had bought, and I'd actually never cared about it. I'd just done it because that's what I thought society told us to do. But I quit that day. I remember looking at my shoes going, you could die tomorrow, be hit by the number 6 bus, and good for you. You collected shoes. Come on.
So let me ask you, because I don't get to ask this question too often, but I believe you can strike back on this one. Do you ever think that you were a victim of imposter syndrome?
100%.
Talk about that, because a lot of people, I hardly ever hear anybody talk about what that was.
100%. So again, my background was I sucked in school because I lived in a very violent house. And so I wasn't concentrating in school. I was getting C's, D's in math. School was an awful environment for me. And so I grew up thinking that I wasn't smart. Fast forward to I'm 19 years old. I'm in Tokyo. I'm living in Tokyo because I'm modeling. And I decided to take all of my high school transcripts all over again. So I'd sit at modeling shoots, and I'm doing all of my education again because I realized to get into college, I need to up my game. It gets straight A's. Amazing. I go to college. I graduated with 98% straight A's across the board, but I haven't internalized that I'm actually one smart cookie. I still think that I'm that dumb kid. So then I get into the corporate environment. I'm surrounded primarily by men. I'm making six figures. I can't believe that this scared kid from Vancouver, Canada, is making this kind of money and has gotten to that level. I can't accept it. And so every meeting I go into, I can fake it. I can look good. I can be all dressed up. I've got the gift of the gab, but I feel like an imposter because all of the men around me have got PhDs and they've got masters. I've only got a college education. I've got a few Harvard courses behind me and so forth. And so, yeah, definitely I felt like an imposter. But in hindsight, I look back on that and think that was just ridiculous to feel like an imposter because your education doesn't mean that you're smarter than someone.
Right. It also sounds like a little bit of Cinderella complex.
Which I don't know what that is.
Well, too good to be true. At any time, the clock could strike midnight and the carriage turns back into a pumpkin.
And that's why I think the panic attack started, because I think for 40 years, every time something good happened, and like I say, I had an amazing life. Everything I touched turned to gold. I assumed because I was successful or something good happened to me, something bad was immediately going to happen to me.
Well, did you attribute your success primarily to the outer Claire and very little of it to the inner Claire? Because you didn't just said you didn't see yourself as a smart cookie, but you knew you had the looks and the style and the swag to get your foot in the door for the modeling and all of that. And did you think that the look is what they needed around them, that they wanted around them? And it really had nothing to do with the internal Claire. They don't know me at all.
Yeah. And to a degree, I would say that that's still true. It was still true. Yes, they needed the internal Claire, but I remember in corporate life going to meetings and guys would hit on me all the time. Clients would hit on me all the time. They liked what I looked like. And so that validated to me that people only saw the external and not the internal.
And that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So here we are today. You got through that for a reason, because in order for you to fix other people or help get their hand over to the light switch so that they can make the choice of flipping it or not, you had to learn the obstacle course that gets you to that wall full of switches. Tell us about what you do today for those people, and who is your ideal client that you work with mindset coaching on? What do they look like, and what is it they're looking for?
Yeah, so what I do today, so long story short, in 2016, so I'd finally left corporate life. I served my 4 months notice, and I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I knew it wasn't corporate America. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Literally within 2 days of leaving corporate life, I read in the Financial Times that 1 in every 3 or 1 in every 4, I don't remember the exact stat, of people in corporate environment are suffering from burnout and panic attacks, anxiety and depression.
Oh, and heart attack, all kind of stuff.
And I remember thinking, I've hidden this for 18 months. I didn't tell anyone. I'm out the other side. I've done a massive disservice here. If it's 1 in every 3, that means guaranteed my staff, and I've got staff around the world, guarantee that my staff have gone through it, my boss's boss, my clients. I thought I need to tell everybody what I've gone through to show that, what it looks like and also how to get out of it on the other side. Literally the next day, I see this huge conference in Canada sponsored by KPMG, which is a former client of mine, and Shell Canada, say that they need a keynote speaker to talk about this subject. And I applied thinking they're never going to take me. Again, imposter syndrome, thinking they're never going to take me. And I got a phone call 2 days later to say, we'll fly you out and we want you to share your story. And don't start small, right? 500 people. I've gone from hiding it, not telling a soul. Now I got to go stand on a stage and bare my soul.
Same thing with me. It's that same
So
thing happened.
we don't start small, right? And I
No.
remember thinking, this is career suicide. I'm going to walk on that stage. I'm going to share my soul, and I'm never going to work again. And it did the opposite. I walked on that stage, and I remember thinking, and I was scared. I was thinking, I can't believe that I'm actually going to put this out here. Walked on the stage, and I thought, well, if it's 1 in every 3 and it's 1 in every 4, my people are in the crowd. My people are here. Told my story, and I got mobbed. As soon as I was a 1-hour keynote speech, I got mobbed afterwards. I got lots of clients who said, if you can go through that and get out on the other side, I want you as a client. And that was the birth of my job.
That's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. That picture right there, that's from that night when I did the same thing. Very first time, I think it was like 614 people. And that night turned out a year later becoming the Goldcast video, which now
Amazing.
has over
Yeah,
20 million views. And I would have never, I didn't even think I was going to get in the show.
Yeah.
In the first place, when I auditioned, who's going to want to hear this?
Yeah.
And boom. So you guys, there it is. I say it all the time. Remember this, bear your scars, honor them. Don't do what I did and what Claire did. Keep them hidden and pull long sleeves down and button everything up. Because the moment I bore my scars and honored them, the first thing it taught me, which I will never forget, is that thank God, there is immediate proof of healing. Every time I look at a scar, it healed. It's not gaping open. It didn't get infected. It has healed. And when you honor it, every time you look at it, you start seeing a little bit deeper past the outside to the inside. And I guarantee you keep looking, find that courage to keep looking, keep trying, keep moving. You're going to see the outline of a heart underneath every scar. And that heart is your story, just waiting for you to give it permission to beat. So that's that. So Claire, how do people find you to find out if they're a good fit? Because I believe in coaching. It's just like a nice pair of shoes. You want to walk around in them for a minute. You want to scuff up the bottom so you don't fall on your ass. And you want to make sure that it's a good, comfortable fit. And so what is your process for getting to know people and allowing them to get to know you to see if this is, in fact, a synergistic move?
100%. So I give a 45-minute to 1-hour free consult, no obligations. And that's my way of finding out, are we a good fit? Because my avatar, my ideal client is, I don't care your background. I just need you to be 100% authentic. Tell me the truth, bare your soul, get in the gutter with me. I'll get in the gutter with you. I'll share all of my stuff as well, and be prepared to do the work. I can't do the push-ups for you, but if you got the gumption and the wherewithal to want to help yourself, you're my ideal client.
So when people come to Claire Rogers, and as you all see, those are the connectors. I'll continue to rotate those throughout the rest of the show. We've got about 6 minutes left. Claire, I want to pop something on the screen. I want you to tell people how you feel, where this falls in alignment with your to-do list to get this mindset momentum, this change going. How important is this?
100%. The number one, you have to surrender. You have to bare your soul and just surrender. It's number one.
Number one. What about this one?
Power of intentions. That's important, but it's not 100%. I live my life with intention every single day. But to get to your mindset, I think first of all, to get to your intentions, first of all, you need to do the deep work first, and then the intentions come later.
Okay, so to open that door to do the deep work, I know for many decades, I got to the door. I even had my hand once or twice on the knob. And then I heard something growling from the other side. I could have sworn when I looked down, I saw some kind of a shadow moving underneath. I'm like, I ain't going in there. So talk about this.
Oh, embracing fear. That's got to be number two. You've got to embrace the fear. You've got to embrace the darkness. You've got to recognize the fear that's holding you back. And fear holds most of us back. It's fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. That's a huge one. Imposter syndrome. Fear will stop you from doing all sorts of things. So,
amen. Because I realized after the fact that a lot of the things, I would have to say all of the things that I was afraid of, on and on and on and on and on, I was afraid more of what I would have if I didn't have that. If I'm not afraid of that, then what excuse will I have?
And my biggest thing was, if I give up my fear and I don't watch my back, what's going to come and get me? That was my biggest one.
That's right. That's right. I dealt with that. I'm sure you guys did too. So once we get moving and we start the wheels of change, how important is it for us to understand that the work we're doing is for the purpose of bringing it all together on the screen? Because that is why do we do these things? Because we want to live within our purpose. We want to feel, I don't know how old you are.
47.
47. Okay. Excuse me. I know for me, it was once I stepped over that 50 line, the meridian. It was a whole different ball game, because I was like, wait a minute. Okay. My great grandfather did live to be 116, had his last son at 97. But I don't want to just bank on that happening to me. So I'm 50. If I double that, what are the odds of me hitting 100? Okay, I most likely have more life behind me than I have in front of me. I need to get this done.
Yeah.
You see, I felt a universal urgency to fulfill my purpose in this world. So how important do you feel it is? I know you're going to have something to say about this. Take us home with this last note.
100%. Toxic influences. That's tough. You got to get rid of the energy vampires out of your life. That was a big one for me.
Me too.
I'm an empath, and so naturally I want to help everybody. Not everybody wants help. Some people just want to complain. They want to moan.
Lord Jesus.
Woe is me. Oh my God. You got to cut them out. And the big thing that I learned is, if you cut out energy vampires, if you don't help everybody, it doesn't mean you're not a good person. That was the biggest thing that I learned, because I thought, well, I'm turning my back on this person and they need me. No, they don't. They need someone to moan to. I'm not your one. You need to cut out the toxic influences, but you also need to cut out, I would say, toxic things that are not serving your mind. So for example, sugar doesn't work for me. Sugar is not good for you. Sugar is not your friend. That's not going to serve a good mindset. You got to eat healthy. I balance between pescatarian. Right. I'm a pescatarian / vegan, that kind of thing, because I'm fueling my mind every day. So you got to get rid of the toxins that you're eating and you're drinking.
Oh my God, I'm Presbyterian too.
Presbyterian? I said pescatarian.
I know, I'm kidding. Gotcha. Listen, what a pleasure this has been, everyone. Right now on your screen, Itopia Coaching / Facebook and Instagram. That's where you can find Claire, and also direct shot. Here's the superhighway to itopiacoaching.com. Go in and take a look at what Claire Rogers has to offer. Even if it's just to say, hi, I want to talk with you. Get that free discovery call. You never know what you're going to discover. Okay, so I'm going to keep those in rotation. Claire, I want to thank you so much for coming in and showing us your soul and allowing us to pour into yours. You have what I call the turnstile invitation, which means you're invited back here anytime you'd like.
I would love to come back.
Good, and we'd love to help you. I'm going to be on Claire's show. When is it, tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Okay, yes, so we'll let you know about that. I want to thank you all for coming today and making the promise, fulfilling it. Again, where two or more of us come together, that something great will happen. It did it again. It has happened. And I want to invite all of you to come back tomorrow, 8 a.m. Central. I'll meet you out on the front porch, God willing, when my guest will be the Oracle. That's right. Dominique Rivera will be here. She's going to tell you what's in the stars, what's in the cards, all about this full moon thing that we got going on, and much, much more. So have your questions and all of that ready tomorrow morning for the Oracle. And get out there today. Won't you please do what we always do? We make this world a better place, one story, one person at a time. Every person in every situation you encounter today, just stay in the now. Worry about today, okay? Leave that person or that situation just a tad bit better than the way you found it. You'll be shocked at how the blessings come pouring into you because you poured just a little bit into someone else. That's mine. I'm going to stick to it. That's my story. Claire, love you. Thank you so much.
Love you.
God bless you.
Thank
Continue
you.
being the blessing you are to this world. We love you. And
Thank you.
Sonny Von Cleveland, thank you for the connection to Claire. I owe you, man. You guys have a great day. I'm Lauren Michaels Harris. I'll see you tomorrow morning for our next installment of Bathrobe Moments. Bye-bye.